In terms of practice today for y'all, Malik is still in protocol, so he won't practice. Other than that, that's the update I have for him. Motor won't practice, he has a groin. And then Phillips and Adoree, they won't practice. They'll be out here doing work on the side, as will Motor.
Neighbors won't?
No, he's still in the protocol, so. Those talked about that before with Darius. Take that however it comes.
Has he progressed to the point where he's been able to do some running or any of that? Is he at that point of the protocol?
Yeah, he's in the early stages of it right now. So again, we'll just take it day by day with him. Really, Jordan, other than that, I have no update other than he's in the protocol, and just hope he continues to get better.
Do you prepare for this game as if he's not going to be available?
Well, you do that when anytime you have guys that aren't practicing, you make sure that you have contingency plans. But hopeful, and if not, we'll have a plan.
He's such a big part of,
Yeah.
of your team, your offense. Where would you go? Where would you look like, you think, without him?
Yeah, again, let's wait to see where he's at. The guys that are out here practicing will go ahead and take the reps. That'll give Jalen more reps today than he's had in practice. So everybody's got to be ready to go.
Brian, is Singletary, is that a long-term issue, or do you not know?
I don't think so, Pat. He's going to do some stuff on the side. We'll see where he's at. He ran on Monday. I'm hopeful for him, but again, a couple more days to see where he's at.
He came out of the game with that?
He did, yeah.
You got two guys you can return from IR, Adams and Johnson. Are you planning to start their clocks?
Matt Adams we will today. Nope, not today. Adams will start his 21-day window. Sorry.
With the corners, Adoree and Drew, what's your early outlook on that?
I think today will be a good day for them. They've made progress, Dan. Hopefully these next couple days we can see more progress out of them, so they'll be ready to go. But can't say they will be. Got to make sure we see it.
How valuable is when you have a guy like McLeod, who, when you're in a spot, you can play him inside, you
Sure.
can play him outside, you can move him around?
Yeah, it's important, position flexibility, particularly for the guys that maybe aren't starting right away. And McLeod has done a lot of different things for us. I would say not just on defense, but in the kicking game. So there's flexibility there. He's played, like you said, he's played outside, he's played inside. It's like a fourth receiver, if you will, that can play multiple positions because they're going to have to if they're not the starters. So that's important.
What have you thought of Gino as a quarterback in this league?
He's playing at a high level. I mean, he's a veteran now, but he's done a really good job when you study the tape. Last year, this year here to start out, obviously threw for a bunch of yards. It was kind of back and forth game there for a while. He's got command. I know it's a new offense with Ryan there. It looks like he has command of what he's doing. He has, I would say, very, very good skilled players around, and he gives those guys chances. When Metcalf's one-on-one, you saw it the other night, it's an inside fade, and he's a hard man to cover, how big and strong and fast he is. And, Smith-Njigba has really come along and he's doing a great job in the slot. And Lockett is Lockett. He's been a consistent pro throughout his career. And then you add, this Walker, who I think is one of the better backs in the league. Was obviously excellent at Michigan State, but he is tough. He's elusive. He breaks tackles. And Charbonnet is a good player too. So I think Gino is the guy that leads it all. Does a good job of getting the ball to those playmakers. Fant at tight end as well, but they all have good roles, good players, and Gino is, I think for the last couple of years been playing at a high level.
When you deal with quarterbacks so often, when a guy does not make it with his first team that drafts him, bounces around a little bit and now settles in and looks like a really good player, do you look at a guy like that a little different? Like there's a little bit of a toughness quotient or factor or something with a guy like that?
Yeah, I think you have to add. I mean, sometimes you go through some tough times. It seems like the past few years, a lot of quarterbacks have been going through a fair amount of that. And he's played football at a lot of different places, and he's a veteran that's really settled in and is making really good decisions, throwing the ball well. You can see how he bounces back in games too. The first game against Denver, sack on the first play, interception on the next play. He just keeps on trugging along. Got a lot of respect for him and, his career and journey in this league and how he's playing and looks like leading their team right now.
The fact that this will be the third year in a row you've seen them, it's kind of a weird scenario, but because of all the changes that they've had with the new coach and all schemes, is there anything you can take from the last 2 years other than?
Well, you look at some matchups, but it's more, it's a new year this year. They've played 4 games and an overtime against New England and was back and forth. The Denver game, they kind of nip and tuck, and then they took off, and then they really played a good solid game against Miami. Then even Monday night game against the Lions, it was back and forth. There was a lot of yards, a lot of points in that game. I know Mike McDonald got a tremendous amount of respect for him. They've started out fast and got 3 good wins under their belt. And it's a tough place to play at Seattle.
Yeah, the defense obviously has the Baltimore roots. Is it anything similar to what you were used to? You guys were going up against here with Wink the last couple of years.
Yeah, I'd say Mike runs his own style. Obviously, there's roots. That's where he came up. He's was at Michigan, did his own thing at Michigan. He was at Baltimore when we played him. You can go back and watch that game, but that was years within the system. So there's the system starts out, and I think Mike has evolved the system the way that he likes to call it. He's a good coach. Got a chance to meet him at the owners' meetings really for the first time and have a good conversation with him. Smart guy.
What did you think of Charles Cross in the draft process, and how have you seen him develop?
We liked him. Yeah, athletic, good feet. I think he's improved. Since he's started. You watch him, but I think he's a good tackle in this league. But he was very, very athletic at Mississippi State, and you can see that athleticism show up in the league where he can transition, keep his balance. He does a good job in pass pro.
What's your evaluation of your pass rush at this point, and what have you guys been trying to shore up there in this mini bye week?
Yeah, I'd say there's some good things. We have quite a bit more sacks at this time of the year than we did last year, but there's still a lot of room for improvement. Those 4 guys are starting to gel in terms of pass rush games and communication, and that's a work in progress. But there's been some good, and there's been some obviously things we can keep on working.
DK is so physically unique.
Yeah.
Receivers, how do you prepare for that? I mean, obviously you've got against them a couple of times, but
yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's you can't simulate the strength, the size, and the speed, but you do the best job you can out here. And but he's talented guy who has all those qualities: that big, fast, strong, explosive, competitive, plays the right style. He's a good player.
Two more. Pro Bowl last year, and top 100 player. Has he taken his game to another level out there?
Yeah, again, another guy that he's a very smart player. We knew that obviously here. Instinctive. He's made a couple really good plays for him to start this year. I know he's out or has a quad. We'll see where he's at, but that type of guy is with the right mindset that works the right way. You really wouldn't expect anything else.
What are your experiences and takeaways of playing in Seattle? The atmosphere there.
Yeah, no, it's electric. It's a hard place to play. We're going to have to try to simulate it the best we can, but it's loud. Communication is can be an issue. We have to do a good job of, again, the way you practice it is you blare it as loud as you can blare it, Jordan, and make it hard for those guys to communicate during practice because it's usually pretty loud there. So it's a cool place to play, just with the atmosphere and their fan base. It's makes it challenging on an offense, communication-wise at times.